Are we live? I I can't stand it when it doesn't tell us if we're live or not. Can you see?
Yes, meeting is not streaming live on Facebook.
We are live. Welcome back, everybody, to the Relationship Hotline. My name is Daniel Robertson. I'm here with Beatrix. Beatrix, how do you pronounce your name?
Pakete.
Fekete. I
Yes.
should have asked you before we went live.
No, it's okay.
Today we are answering the question, where are the real men? Okay, where are the real men? I hear this from women all the time. So does this mean that women are right in asking this question? Where are the real men? Are the standards for men too high? Is this a real, what is this experience? What is meant by this question? So we're going to talk about this question. This is the relationship hotline. So what that means is you can call in live. If you are as brave as Beatrix and I are, you can call in live and talk with us. And the point of the relationship hotline, yeah, Beatrix is giving a thumbs up if you can't see her right now. The point of the relationship hotline, look, this is for members of the Thriving Relationship group, but actually right now the if you're on Facebook watching us live, you can just actually call in live. And um, the point is to be able to answer your questions live. So if you're struggling in a relationship, and you want in-depth guidance from expert relationship coaches like myself and Beatrix, then this is your opportunity. Why wouldn't you take advantage? Okay, so Beatrix, we're going to answer this question. Where are the real men? I'm going to talk about what I think is meant by what is a real man in this context. I'll tell you, look, as a man in the United States in 2025, this can be a personal question because I've been told men get judged. Are you masculine enough? If your relationship fails, does that mean that you were not masculine enough in your relationship? If you're not succeeding in your career, is that because you're not masculine enough? What does it mean to be masculine? What does it mean to be a real man? We get conflicting messages. Beatrix,
Mhm.
what would you say about this question? Where are the real men? What are women speaking about? Where is this coming from? What are what's your initial reaction to that?
My initial thing was, why don't we reward real men? We stopped rewarding real men along the line. We know what happened, and yeah, we're not rewarding the real men. But first of all, the question that I asked you, you remember before we started, what is a real man? What do we mean by a real man? Because I know that many men are turned off by this um phrase, real man. And I love that because it's very triggering. But at some point, we have to understand, I think it's for women as well, that we have to show up a certain way because we were designed to show up a certain way. And we have moved away from it very much because of all sorts of circumstances. And to me, a real man is a man who understands and confidently steps into his role so he can navigate through his life and his role as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a contributor. And the prerequisite of that, in my opinion, is health. Health in mindset, health, spiritual, emotional, physical health. To me,
Oh,
that would look like a real man who would embrace his real presence and what he is here to do.
okay. Okay, you said health,
Health,
spiritual, mental,
mental, emotional, physical.
emotional, physical. Okay. Okay, let me tell you where Coach Beatrix is coming from. She said Beatrix guides business and professional men to integrate their family life, relationships, health, and success without sacrificing their income or committing to years of therapy. I like that. She blends science-based, root cause focused methods that upgrade a man's identity, strengthen emotional resilience, and equip him with personalized, actionable tools to create effective and lasting change. I love that. I love that. As a coach, we are not seeking to have clients depend on us for years and years. We're seeking transformation. You transform. Once it's done, I mean, we have these practices, right? I mean, life is a mixture of an event and a practice, right? And so yes, you will practice your new self over time, but it is not meant to keep you in coaching for your entire life. That is not the point. And
Mhm.
I see people go to therapy for years and years and years, and right? Don't you see it?
Yeah, it,
Uh,
no, you need a company if you need a co sorry.
Especially, I see it
Yeah.
especially in New York, in Los Angeles, where people have the
Mm,
wealth to be able to afford to just go to therapy for years, and you just go to somebody and talk to them, and I
mm.
don't understand it.
No, I
Uh,
don't.
Okay,
Uh,
what were you gonna say?
oh no, I was gonna say if you need to go to therapy, then the question is, does it work? Do you need a friend or a company, or do you actually keep yourself in the not good enough phase? So you're actually
Yeah.
proving yourself that every time you go, I feel good enough, but actually you're not progressing. Just in brackets,
Yes.
I'm off the tangent. Sorry.
Yes, great. Okay, so I just wanted to give you all context about who Beatrix is so that you can understand why she's speaking to this topic. Look, my name is Daniel Robertson. I'm a relationship coach. My background is actually as a lawyer. I have a master's degree in conflict resolution. I have a certification in trauma-informed coaching. This is where I come from. I want to help couples learn to create loving, supportive, secure, authentic relationships that last. And it is seems to be increasingly challenging. There is seemingly a growing divide between people who are married and people who are kind of taking a different path, a more modern version of either serial monogamy or polyamory or all the different varieties of relationship. And there's an increasing number of people who seem to be single and not able to create a relationship, although they want one. So, that's where this question comes from. We're in 2025. Where are the real men? Where do I hear this? I hear this from women, often professional women who are accomplished, they're educated, they have a career, they might be in their 30s or 40s or beyond, and they're dating, would like to have a partner, would like to have their heterosexual women would like to have a male partner to enjoy life with, to travel with, to partner with in creating love and are having a hard time finding these men. So we're going to define what I'll talk about what I think a real man is when women say, "Where are the real men?" Beatrix, do you have anything to add to where this question is coming from? What's the pain that the women are in when they're asking this question?
Some women have become the man that they look for. That's the problem. And we don't give space to man. We don't embrace man and their masculinity. Here on the tube, on the underground, there's posters that staring is a criminal offense, skirting is a criminal offense, and things like that. And that's why I said that we don't reward men to be men, because we might have some negative connotations to it for various reasons. So giving space to men would be really good. And I think that starts from us. And that's where it comes to and it's just my experience. Where I was before, I was, I didn't reward men because I was full of trauma from men. But the aftermath is, oh yeah. like a different lens, seeing men from a different lens.
Did you say being, did you say being, I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you. Being man from a different land? What did you say?
I see men from a different lens
Oh, a different lens.
today.
You see
Lens
men
today,
through a different
yeah.
lens now.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
and can you summarize the difference how you used to see them and how you see them now?
I was traumatized by a lot of men, so I didn't really like them and I hurt them. And I didn't appreciate them. I didn't respect them. I used them. Today, I very much appreciate the men's presence, and I look at them from a different. Yeah, it's much more positive, much more acceptance.
Yeah.
So, what are the real men?
This is why I asked you to have this conversation with me because I feel that from you. I One of the things I love about you is that you are willing to empathize with men because it's very easy to split. I see social media content that is very easy to split between people who are trying to separate men and women and arguing about who's right and who's wrong. There's tons of that. There's the Whatever podcast where men bring on women and just denigrate them and put them down and try to get them to acknowledge that they're wrong, separating the gender wars. And then there's other content that is trying to bring people together. Have compassion, have empathy. And
Mhm,
I feel that from you, which is one of the reasons why, I love your work and I love speaking with you. I can feel it, which for men, as a man, okay? Look, I've had relationships that have been hurtful. I've hurt women unintentionally. Women have hurt me. We've broken people's hearts unintentionally due to our own traumas and our triggers and our wounds. And it is a healing experience to speak with a woman who wants to empathize, wants to understand, and says, "I see you." And it's the same. It goes the other way. Men need to do this for women as well. So one person who your work reminds me of is Alison Armstrong. And are you familiar with Alison Armstrong?
yes.
Yeah, and she talks about how she used to treat men, which I can I can relate to because I've men are spoken about as she says misbehaving women. So it's okay if a man doesn't know where the scissors are in the house. There's the show King of Queens, and on King of Queens, there's this episode where the wife is openly mocking her husband for not knowing where the scissors are in the kitchen. And it's just seen as okay to mock a man for this. And you say, he should know, he should know. Okay.
Mhm,
But what if women have different strengths than men have? And can we respect that and acknowledge that and appreciate that? So men are treated and talked to as though they are misbehaving women. And um, that's what Alison Armstrong says. It took me a while to register what she was saying. But
mhm,
can we appreciate men for having different types of strengths
mhm, mhm.
that are different from women? So, okay. So here's what we'll
Yeah.
do. I want to define what I think women are looking for
Mhm,
when they say, "Where are the real men?"
mhm,
And then I'm going to contrast that with, I think, what is very frustrating for women in men who are not mature.
mhm, mhm,
And then we can talk about what do we do with this.
mhm.
And I want to hear your definition. Okay, we'll go through a few. Here's what, and again, we're coming from a dating context typically. When I hear women say, "Where are the real men?" I can't find them.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, I've been over the past 4 years involved in the dating world, so I know that I see this from the inside. Beatrix, do you have anything to add before I jump into my kind of thoughts about what these are?
No, I just wanted to say, can we just actually understand each other, be open to each other, and understand how we operate instead of attacking ourselves? And that's when we can bring each other together.
Yes.
I was in my 30s, or in my 30s, I started to learn about men. After a miserable, catastrophic marriage, after my late fiancé, after plenty of situations, can we just take the time to understand each other and learn about each other?
Yes.
And that would be a massive shift in relationships, I think, and embrace our differences. I think we are different for a reason, and that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, you know that that speaks to my heart. Steven, I see you. I see you live. Eric. Okay, Eric says men are often seen as children. We're going to speak to that, Eric. So stick around. And feel free. Beatrix, what do you want to say about that?
I love that. I don't. Okay, now, well, maturity matters not only for men but for women as well. Through my work, what do we bring to relationships? The 5-year-old wounded child, the 6-year-old painful, resentful child, the 7-year-old who is still fighting with their mom and dad
Yes.
because they were not there for them. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. That's why I find that healing and inner work is extremely important for a healthy relationship. So it can be a very immature woman, it can be an immature man as well. We have to sort that out. We can do a little bit, we can do things, we can do that before relationship. The relationship will teach us as well. And then when we are in a relationship and when something's not going right or we come across as childish, then we have to be willing to work on ourselves. It is a very, hmm, for women, especially if you have children with that man becomes another child. And when a man behaves immature, it is natural for a woman to step into her masculinity. We know what happens when a woman steps into her masculinity. So
Sex
we both
dies.
have,
There's no attraction. There's resentment.
yes, yeah, yeah. But I would, yeah, maturity is very, very important. And that comes down to communication, or the language, patience. And that's why I said health. That's why I said the emotional and
Health.
the mental health. Yes. I'd
Yes.
love to hear your opinion on what a real man is.
Okay, so why don't we, since we're on the topic, I'm going to describe three different scenarios. I love to make things practical and concrete because it's easy to say, oh, they act like children. What do you mean they act like children? Oh, they
Mhm,
turn them off. What does that mean? Okay, I'm going to give three practical scenarios. Okay,
mhm,
one, when men are acting like children, this is what I see is very frustrating for women. My encouragement for women, if your man is acting like this, try to work with him
mhm, mhm,
to reform the behavior.
mhm,
This
mhm,
behavior can be reformed rather than just be angry. You shouldn't be acting like this. Okay.
mhm,
Well,
mhm,
he is. So let's
mhm,
try to work together and reform it. Men,
mhm,
you need to step up and be more mature. So here's some examples. Let's talk about the anxious, low self-esteem man who just wants validation. Please, 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 please validate me. If you're happy with me, then I'm okay. Okay? This is a little boy asking for mommy's validation. This is very
mhm,
unattractive, it's immature, and it is no judgment. I am
mhm,
not judging somebody. Like, I've been there. Okay? Like, I'm not judging anybody who goes through this. But women are very frustrated and turned off by this, understandably. So work with the man if he's going through this. One of the things I see is the woman in a heterosexual relationship is turned off by this behavior, but she can't put it into words. She can't even tell him what it is that's turning her off or what she wants from him. So he doesn't know what to do. And he's stuck because he hasn't learned this yet either. So they're both stuck together. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
Example number two, I'll do the man who wants mommy's approval, which is I did the dishes. Did you notice I did the dishes? Can I get a gold star? Women hate this. Right? Because you do the dishes because you are a partner in the household, not because you need a gold star. Okay. That
Mm-hmm.
said, there is nuance here because what if you do the dishes? It would be nice if your partner says, whether you're a man or a woman, if you do the dishes, if your partner says, "Thank you for doing the dishes. I appreciate all the work you put into this family." Beautiful. That doesn't mean it's coming from the energy of "I need your approval. I need a gold star for doing something good." Okay?
Exactly.
Point number three that is extremely frustrating is men who adhere to these traditional gender roles, and you think that it's the woman's job to do the cleaning and do the cooking and do the laundry and sweep the floors. If you think that that's her job to take care of everything in the house because you have these traditional roles, it makes sense that she sees you as someone who just wants a mommy who to be the caretaker, that you don't have any responsibility here. There's a lack of partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those are three. I want to give you three concrete examples. If you come to my content, you get concrete, practical examples, not platitudes. Okay? Beatrix, what do you think about those three examples?
Yeah, they all true. Yes. Yeah, they all true. Yes, yes. So the approval is it is a turn off. Can we just put a disclaimer here? We're talking about healthy women because for maybe for an unhealthy woman that wouldn't be a turn off, right? Um, so we want to look up to that man. We want to follow, right? It's not the other way around. The second one, we definitely have to give recognition to what he does, even though that's a regular normal chore. It's just really good to say thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing the dishes. Thank you for taking out the rubbish, whatever it is. Recognition is very, very important. And the third one was, yeah, you know what? Once I heard from a relationship coach, and he said, men don't marry women for these chores. They can hire anyone to do those stuff, right? So what's the woman's role? Then we have to know what our role is in a man's life. So those things are partnerships. Yes, absolutely. I experienced that. Like I was like, whoa, man, so many things are done, and I'm like, oh yeah, I appreciate it, and we shared, and that's just what it is. As you said, that's what partnership is about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. On the other hand, I'll speak to an example. We still haven't even got to our definition of what women mean by real man. I'm about to get to that. Let me give a contrasting example where I think men are put down when they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I will see a man just wants a woman to touch him, touch me, caress me,
Mm-hmm.
like I want to hold you, hold each other, I want to snuggle. And
Mm-hmm.
some women will say, "You just want a mommy to care for you." No.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it wrong? Even or the man who wants appreciation. Hey, I worked really hard. I want appreciation. Everybody wants appreciation. And she says, "You want a mommy just to give you approval." No. He wants appreciation just like a normal human being. Or
Mm-hmm.
he wants physical affection and touch just like a normal human being. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that he wants a mommy.
Mm-hmm.
So I do hear women put men down for wanting normal, natural things.
So does that woman see that man from a healthy lens?
Right, exactly. No, she's not coming from a healthy lens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's the question then, because these
right.
things which you just mentioned, absolutely humane things. It's
Yes,
just part of being a human being.
yes,
Yes. So then, can I invite men to discern if they to discern or to recognize if they're dealing with a healthy woman?
yes. Good question. That's why these conversations online
Yeah.
are so hard because people make these blanket statements. Women are like this, men are like this. Are we
Mm.
talking about a healthy man and a healthy woman?
Mhm,
Are we talking
mhm,
about
mhm,
unhealthy? We can't make these
mhm.
broad generalizations about everybody.
Yes, everyone's different. That's true.
Okay. I think everything we've talked about has been important. I think it's been valuable and enlightening for people. But let's get to the question. Where are the real men? I want to talk about what I think women are looking for when they're looking for a real man and get your feedback.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
again, we're talking in the dating context.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, I think women want a man who is confident enough to approach them. Beatrix is giving a thumbs up in case you
yeah.
can't see her.
Mm-hmm,
Right off the bat, we have a generation of men who are so afraid of rejection. And I know this, like I like to socialize, so I will approach strangers, men and women, to make new friends, to build relationships, and I know what it's like to get rejected. It has been very valuable to just learn the confidence to to approach somebody.
mm-hmm,
So, but it's we're in a generation where people don't have that skill
mm-hmm,
and the internal fortitude to be able to handle rejection.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so women are right off the bat, women are saying, where are the men who are confident enough to approach? And the men are saying, well, we had Me Too. We thought with Me Too, you didn't want us to approach.
mm-hmm,
I think there's a skill building. There's a skill gap here because you can approach very as a man, I think it's actually very easy to approach a woman without her feeling sexually harassed.
mm-hmm,
Like I don't think so some
mm-hmm,
men have the experience where, oh, she's acting like I'm harassing her. Well, okay, you just need some skill building here to learn how to approach them the right way.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so
mm-hmm,
women want a man who's confident enough to approach her. I think women really appreciate some good flirting skills. So if you know how to have a conversation, if you know that people love it if you just ask follow-up questions. There's research on this. You know how to be conversational. If you have some charm or some charisma, these are qualities that can be developed.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so okay.
mm-hmm,
Then if you have that initial ability to start a conversation, what are they looking for? I think women are looking for a man who's responsible. What does that mean? Number one area in my mind is career and money. Is he responsible with money? Does he have a career that seems reasonable? How about health and fitness? Does he seem very unhealthy, or does he seem like he values his fitness? Does he look like he values his fitness? I think friends and family, people, it's a good sign if you have good relationships with your family and good relationships with your with friends. Because if there's a man who doesn't have any friends, what's going on in his life? It's out of balance. Something's out of balance.
mm-hmm,
Beatrix,
mm-hmm,
for those of you who can't see, if you're only seeing me while I speak, um, Beatrix is nodding along to all of this. The last category I think women look for is some either humor, intellect, or spirituality, or all of the above. Something like, is the man, does he have some kind of quality of either humor or intellect, a different form, which are different forms of intelligence, some form of spirituality. There's something bigger than him. The world doesn't totally revolve around him. I think these are just elements of having a well-balanced life.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so
mm-hmm,
right off the bat, by the way, as a man, I'm looking at this, and I'll give you a chance to respond to this, Beatrix, but on one level, these are basic things, career and money, health and fitness, family and friends, and then some intellectual or humor or spiritual life to yourself.
mm-hmm,
On one level, I look at these as kind of basic. On the other level,
mm-hmm,
as a 40-year-old man myself, it and with children and a job, it is very difficult to balance, to have the time to invest in my career, in my fitness, in my children, in my friendships.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult to balance everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any reaction to this, or should I just continue?
Um, I think this is a really good point. And when a man is responsible or takes care of these elements of his life, that indicates that he can take care of as much as the woman allows him to take care of her. So it's safe. So I see that a man takes care of his health. That's safe to me. And also, um, what if what if we don't have to balance these things out? But what if we, what if you prioritize them? What if you just put a priority on them based on your values? And instead of balancing out, maybe you give so percentage of that. And then by being consistent with it, actually you're building up things. Would that feel less pressure to a man?
I think that does feel like less pressure. Now the question is, if I prioritize things, is there a woman who is attractive to me and will accept me without having everything perfect? If
Right.
my like if I'm making a push in my career and my fitness starts to fall off, is she going to say, I'd rather have a guy who is a little more fit?
Mm-hmm. 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 If Well, if they are in a relationship, well, it depends where they are in their relationship. If it's a relationship, I would definitely support the man and like understand that, okay, but encourage him,
Hmm.
encourage him to still take care of the fitness part of it in whatever ways we do it together. We Whatever we do, it's for him because the healthier he is in fitness, the more he can achieve in his career as well. So the two merge. Um, Yes.
Okay.
So
I
yes,
love
it
I love
depends.
the
But we
teamwork
have really
attitude.
yeah.
Okay, so I think, and do you agree with me so far that when women say where are the real men, I'm describing what they're looking for.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to keep going because there's more on the
Yes, please.
list.
Yes.
Okay, I think women want a man who is willing to commit to her and be devoted to her. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean monogamy for every woman because there is kind of growing openness to polyamory and open relationships. But for most women, I think still today in 2025, it typically means, are you committed to me and willing to be devoted to me and being willing to define our relationship and turn off your dating app and stop dating other people and like be committed and devoted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, interestingly, from like my initial reaction to this is in the past few years, I was dating somebody last year. I was 100% ready to be committed to her. I was like, and she was the one who wasn't willing to commit. And
Okay.
so, it's just kind of interesting. But in the past, I can think back further when there was a woman who was willing to commit to me and I wasn't willing to commit. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
this is necessarily a gender thing. It depends on the relationship and your stage in life but when women are looking for a real man, they want a man who's willing to commit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, next thing I think she wants. She wants someone who's compatible with her.
Mm-hmm.
And what I am thinking of specifically is she wants to feel comfortable with the man, but also be proud of him when she is with him and her friends and her family. Like, am I proud to bring this man around my friends and my family? Does he get along well with them? Or is he the kind of guy who starts a political argument and makes everybody upset, you know?
Yeah.
Right? And does he groom himself and look nice and so I can be proud to be together with this man?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is part of being a real man.
Hmm.
Okay. Next, I've
Hmm.
got two more characteristics here. I think women want a man who is motivated, ambitious, and reliable.
Hmm.
Do you think that's
And
true across the board or not fair to say across the board?
I would say yes. Yeah, I think that's very attractive. A man who also allows a woman to inspire him. But
This is such an interesting one for me because I personally know men who do not go out very much. They would maybe partly like to have a girlfriend, but they stay home and play video games a lot or they watch sports on TV a lot and don't really get out. And I'm like, where's your motivation? Where's your ambition? What's going to get
hmm
you out of the house?
hmm
Um, but I think this is one of the things women are generally looking for.
yes, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yes. But if that's the man, there's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But and then you don't come across as a man who I can see that I can build with, move forward, trust, feel safe. So then what's stopping you from being ambitious or being or having a goal? We're not talking about big things, but just to really be more than run on autopilot.
Yeah, right. I think the other thing I see is just a lack of a willingness to take risk from if somebody is if a man is staying home and focusing on video games and TV,
Mm,
there's a lack of a willingness to take a risk and get rejected and get
mm,
hurt. Um, okay, last category is he kind, honest, and considerate? I think women want a man who is both strong on one hand and also kind, honest, and considerate on the other. So some level of sensitivity, some level of emotional responsiveness and sensitivity.
oh yes, definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And consistency
Consistency.
came to my mind as you were mentioning this.
Consistency.
Yes. A man who can manage to balance his masculine and feminine energy. That's very important. And that comes down to being kind. That comes down to having empathy,
Yeah,
understanding
interesting.
as well. Um, I think that's important. That's important for both genders, actually.
Yeah.
That's important to embrace our dominant energy and at the same time learn how to balance out the two.
Yeah. So as I'm listening to this list, um, and by the way, part of the reason why I bring up that last one is because I can think of on social media, there are lots of men who portray themselves as very masculine.
Right. Yes.
You know, I think one of the worst examples is like an Andrew Tate,
Uh-huh.
right, in the
Yes.
manosphere. But there are lots of men who are so proud that they are tall and they have a deep voice and they have a jutting forehead and they some men there's one man I don't know his name. He's always very handsome and in a suit and he basically says it's just in my nature to cheat. I'm not going to be loyal to one woman. It's just my nature. And he expects and he well, I mean he always has a partner. He doesn't have any because he's so tall and handsome and wealthy and he says, "Well, I'm going to cheat. This is the way I am. I'm masculine." And I think women just need to accept that. And women do. Women are willing to partner with him, you know, even though to me, he's not showing the kindness and humility and consideration for his partner that I think would be is more in line with my values, I should say, I guess.
Mhm.
But it creates a question from a man's point of view, is what does it mean to be a man? Is this man more of an example of a masculine man? He's got women by on his arm. He's tall and
Mhm.
handsome and
Mhm.
fit and wealthy.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
so, there's a lot of conflict for what it is for a man to be a masculine man and to
Yes,
be a
I
real
see that.
man, a real man.
Real man. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, especially if women reinforce that behavior,
Yeah.
right? Um, right. So what's the connection between real man and masculinity? Or do we have a connection? Or how do we define masculinity? Maybe that's something we could address because these characteristics are not about masculinity. These characteristics about anger, hurt. A healthy man doesn't have it in his nature to cheat. A healthy man respects women, I
That's a
think.
bold statement. I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, well, a healthy man then knows how to be disciplined
Yeah, I agree with
or is willing to be disciplined.
I agree with that.
Yes. Then a
And
healthy man, yeah.
I suppose I think one of the things that I think is very important is integrity. So if if you have an agreement, in most people in their relationship have an agreement uh not to pursue your romantic relationships outside of your primary one, assuming it's monogamous, right?
Hmm.
If he goes into a relationship saying, I am free to go pursue other romantic endeavors, and she agrees to that, I guess it technically wouldn't be cheating.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
Is she agreed? Yeah, she
yeah.
agreed. Yeah, then no, I have no right then to question that. But most women would,
Yes. In 99% of the case,
uh,
99.99% of the time, that's not what we're talking about.
yeah, that's not fair on men.
Okay, so I feel like I took us on a sidetrack with that conversation about that example. So, um
Mhm.
let's wrap up the conversation with this topic, which is if this is what women mean by they want a real man,
Mhm.
um I wonder if there's more to it than this. There's
Maturity.
If this is what women mean, then what should men do about it and what should women do about it? I want to bring up one nuance that came to my mind, which is, look, we're living now in an era where it used to be that men made more than women financially, and I think it's still true for the most part, except there are some urban areas where women are out earning men, at least in some age categories. And um, it used to be that women would seek a man who made more money, was taller than her, right? And
Hmm.
and now we're living in a new time where, I'm a lawyer, so I could imagine one of my female lawyer colleagues being interested in a man who maybe didn't make as much money as her.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Does that make him less of a man? Is he still qualified as a candidate to be a romantic partner? This is a question that different women have to answer for themselves.
Hmm.
But there is a changing, so men still have the feeling. I will tell you, I think most men still have the feeling that it's their role to provide financially, which I think we have to move past that. Not because things should be one way or another, but because the matter of the fact is that society has changed, times have changed. We have to move out
Hmm.
of this mindset that men provide financially, and that's our role because that's changed.
Hmm. 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 Yes.
So Beatrix, what do men do with this information? if they want a relationship with a woman, and what do women do with this information about, where are the real men?
I think it depends on the woman's value as well, what she accepts. And I would like to encourage men that it doesn't make you less of a man, less masculine, or whatever less you think. It's absolutely not the case. Or I would say for healthy women, again, where we can talk about healthy women. Can I invite men to consider that provision is not only about money. Provision is about can be also about his charisma, his mindset, his charm, his health, his his ambition, being reliable, everything that you've just mentioned. Um, kindness, that's all the things that include provision. It's not only about money. And here's the thing, the right woman, I believe a right woman is here to inspire a man. When that woman inspires the man and really knows her role in the man's life, that man will be so supported emotionally and on every level. He'll make more money anyways because he becomes confident. He's supported. He's safe with that woman. That will automatically increase his performance. That's my opinion. Or actually that's my experience with my late fiance.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that the task for men is we really do we need to work on our relationship skills. Um,
Mhm,
so here is here's a big question. For women who are out there dating, looking for a partner and saying it's so hard to find a man who qualifies as a real man, what they're looking for.
mhm,
Do
mhm.
you think that that's a sign that culturally in our society there is actually a lack of men who are meeting these qualities, meeting these standards? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yes, 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 yes. Because because of social media, then we stay at home. Then yeah, we don't work on ourselves. Yeah, it could be, yes. And as I said, we don't develop ourselves so that we can meet these standards. So when I met my late fiance, he was a man who I've never met before. And he inspired me to be a better version of myself, to bring better standards. So I watched my communication, I watched how I show up. I started to change many things for myself. So because I wanted to meet his standards, right? So I think we can both meet these standards and we can work on them. And as you said, it's kind of like basic things. But we like them because we don't want to. And some men, and I totally get it. Why would I? She would just reject me. Why would I? She earns so much. She would again just reject me. Why would I? I'd rather stay at home, play video games, eat all the processed food, or be scroll on social media. And our brain is just getting more and more foggy and foggy, and we are not motivated, and we are just doing the autopilot mode in time.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll definitely close the gap. And I just would like to add to that, women have to close gaps as well. It's not only about men. Women have to close gaps as well. We have to work together on this. Sometimes, on the other hand, the question is, we attract who we are. Both women and men attract who they are. So if I want a higher quality man in my life, I have to become that myself. It's as simple. And it's the same way. the same principle for men as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the reality that we live in. Um, as men, I do think there are social and economic forces in my experience that are making this increasingly difficult. So I can give you an example of, I mean, in today's day and age, you can be a man making a six-figure income and still not be able to afford to buy a house in the United States. You can make
Hmm.
six figures and not be able to buy a house. So
Hmm.
then you say, well, is this man not responsible enough? Is he not good enough yet? Right?
Mm.
Um, so I think there are social and cultural pressures making it more difficult.
Hmm.
Um, were you going to add something to that?
But what keeps a woman? What keeps a relationship together? It's not the house. It's okay if you live in a rented place. What keeps it together? Those things and the emotional availability and the compatibility.
Love,
My
support,
first,
bonding.
yes, exactly. My first husband was a six-figure man. I didn't stay because those things were not there. And
Yeah,
in the long term, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
We tend to focus on the short term because we're human beings, that's fine. But we have to focus on the long term as well. What really gives a relationship?
yeah,
Because a house or six figure will not keep a woman if if it's if it's not a healthy relationship.
yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's
So,
that's how I see it.
yeah. So I do think that as men, I mean, one of the things I think about a lot as men, two generations ago, my grandfather was fighting in World War II.
Mm,
And now we have men who are afraid to start a business or afraid to approach a woman
right,
in the marketplace, like on the and
right,
start a conversation. So, I mean, a lot of men would probably say, I would rather put on boots and go to war than have to face women and rejection, like or face
right.
or go to therapy and process my emotions.
Hmm. Yes,
They would
yes,
rather go to war than go to therapy and process their emotions and have to talk about that.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly. So what you've along the lines, in many of your examples, where do we go back to? A lot of fear. So
Fear.
when did we, yeah, a lot of fear. But when a man has fear inside of him, then where is that drive? Where is that hunting? Where is that drive? Where is that ambition? Right? It can't come out. Where did we start implementing fear in man? With those things that you mentioned in the beginning, these Me Too programs or whatever have you, the women want rights and things like that, and women behaving certain ways. We implemented fear in man, and that's not the right thing.
Yeah, it really fear is it's a great point to make, and I can think we can end on this point, which is I think on the women's side, what I would suggest for women, some is it a can a man speak about what he would suggest for women? Um,
Yes.
is having some grace. And I think a lot of women hearing this right now are going to say, I have had grace, I have had understanding, and he's still not getting it. Okay. Sounds
Mhm,
frustrating.
mhm,
Nick Slater is a content creator. He makes really good reels. Um, and he had one that just came out, which is he's dating a woman and he's drinking his wine glass with his pinky up. And as soon as he starts drinking with his pinky up, she gets the ick. She's turned off immediately. Ooh, like cringe, right? Like turned off immediately. Well, where does that come from? That comes from fear too.
exactly. Yes.
And as a man, I know how easy it is to you accidentally do something that is perceived as not masculine. Your voice is too high pitch. You you
Mm-hmm.
laugh in a funny way. Like and it's so easy to turn a woman off this way. Um
Mm-hmm.
so my suggestion for the women, if they do want the relationship, is I'm a big proponent of standards. You know, you want a man who is growing and learning, but if you've got a man who's good, meeting as these qualities as best as he can, and is growing and learning and getting better, have some grace, have
Mm-hmm.
some empathy for men as well. You don't have to criticize a man just because he doesn't know where the scissors are kept in the household. That's not the most important thing.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So,
No.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And I truly believe that man can find so these things that we've been talking about, like masculinity, can be different as well for many women. Like what we saw growing up, what we have, yeah, what we really find masculine or not. But I just would like to encourage men to go out there. We really need, I think we really need those men who've got their stuff, who've got that, you know what? Yeah, I'm a man. I want that man because I'll be honest with you, there are all sorts of women out there. There are the boss, there are whatever. Daniel, when I had to step into my masculine energy because my ex-husband wasn't safe, oh my goodness, that is heavy. That is heavy, and I don't want to be in there. And
Mm.
that's why I personally don't. I don't know other women, but I love that man who really brings that authentic masculinity, healthy masculinity, whatever we call it, but himself. And those standards, yeah. I mean, I agree as well. Like we should have standards, and it's good to have standards. But yeah, yeah, those men are needed. Those men are needed, not only for women, for children as well.
Absolutely. I won't disagree with you there. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I think we can. I mean, the big thing is we're not promising sunshine and rainbows all the time. Some of the time you take a risk. In relationships, we
Mm.
take risks. Whether you're a man or a woman, you take a risk. Sometimes things turn out to be disappointments. Sometimes you get hurt or rejected, but you still take the risk anyway because it's worth it, because it's character building, because that's how we love. That's how we're going to improve our society that is here in the United States deeply fractured right now. Our society is
Hmm.
deeply fractured and antagonistic and lonely and isolated, and we can improve it by being willing to extend the branch, being willing to take the risk, seek those new relationships, even though it doesn't always work out, but you'd still do it anyway.
Yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. Yes, I bring the same energy to business as well.
Yep.
Same thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's how we grow. Yes, yes.
So, Beatrix, thank you for being here. We've
Mm.
had some comments. Thank you to those of you who commented on Facebook or like this. Amanda, we see you. Beatrix, how can people get in touch with you if they want to?
By my name on LinkedIn and Facebook.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yes,
Okay. And
yes.
your name is on this video, but do you want to spell it for people just in case?
Beatrixfekete. My last name means black.
Okay, thank you. And you can
Thank you.
find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Daniel William Robertson. Join the Thriving Relationships Facebook group, 21,000 men and women, evolving men and women, working on building authentic connections, secure love and relationships. We're all growing and healing, and we're in this together. So come join the Thriving Relationships community. You can always DM me to ask me for a link, or you can find it next to my cover photo on my Facebook page. And you can also find me at danielrobertson.com. Thank you everyone for being here. Join us next week for the relationship hotline. We will be back. Cheers. Have a beautiful day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.